Rock and roll was a lifelong dream, but it had to end. And as the lights went down on my career, I decided to follow my heart and set out on a journey to explore different cultures and ways of living. Down there, a new world opened itself up to me. A world of new faces, places, and foods. Around every corner, a new experience. My name is Nick Paine. I am a culinary archaeologist, traveling alone on a lifelong journey to preserve the world's ancient recipes. I discovered that many customs, including foods used by the natives, were disappearing every day. Saving these for future generations became my mission, and now I bring you some of the world's most exotic culinary traditions.
Thank you for joining me on another edition of The Exotic Kitchen. I am your host, Nick Paine, and I am so thrilled to have been invited here to the historic city of Athens, Greece. I'm going to show you some really great foods here, and then I'm going to take a train 7.5 hours through the Greek countryside to a city called Thessalonica, a city with an amazing past and some really special archaeological sites that I don't think you've seen anywhere else. We're going to meet some really great people, and we're going to learn some really amazing recipes for that part of the region. So let us begin our expedition.
Eating is a basic human need, and the history of food goes back to a time before the first inscriptions were carved in stone. At some point, our nomadic ancestors gave up the constant chase for game and wild foods, and began the process of cultivation and domestication. I saw culinary artifacts of gold and silver used at victory feasts. At the center of these banquets, meats of wild animals were stuffed and roasted on the spit. In my search of Athens, I was able to find a man who could closely duplicate these ancient dishes.
My first guest on today's show here in Athens is a gentleman by the name of Amir. He is an Arab man from Egypt, and he cooks Greek food. His taverna is located just beyond what used to be the settlements of housing from the 3rd century BC. It's a small taverna right there. And we're going to go see him and see what he has in store for us. I think you're going to enjoy this. Amir is from Egypt?
Yes, Alberto.
Alberto. From Egypt, and he's going to prepare a special dish which is made of pork.
Yes.
And the pork is going to be rolled up with special spices and some cheese, and he's going to show us how he does it.
Yes.
So, here we go.
This pork was cut from the flank of the animal and then marinated. It is long and narrow, but wide enough to facilitate stuffing. Once finished, it will be placed on the skewer, the preferred method of grilling meat in Greece.
And that is parsley. So we've got salt, we have pepper, garlic, and parsley so far. And this is a long piece of, this is beef or pork? It's pork.
Yes, please.
Long big piece of pork. And now we have feta cheese, right?
Cheese.
Amir was originally born in Cairo. His father worked with Howard Carter, the famous archaeologist who discovered King Tut's tomb. Although only 10 at the time, his father recalled many trips into the burial chamber, where he saw the remains of food offerings to be used by the pharaohs on their journey to the afterlife. Some of these offerings appeared to be roasted meats, tied and prepared in a way similar to how Amir now prepares this dish. Amir first visited Greece with his father to attend a reunion for those who worked on King Tut's tomb. He quickly fell in love with Athens and has lived here ever since.
Finished. Yes. So this whole dish took little under 5 minutes. So this is a Greek dish called what?
Ekshishoko.
Ekshishiko. And so it cooks about 2 hours.
After 2 hours, it is you will taste it. It's very juicy. As a special plate, all tourists come here in Greece like to eat in this dish.
So I want to thank you very much.
You're welcome anytime. You're
And
welcome.
it's amazing to see an Arab man from Egypt coming to Athens to cook Greek food, which is a great thing. That's why the cultures should always mix. This is Nick Paine for The Exotic Kitchen, and let's go on to some other places. Bye-bye. This reconstructed wall is the wall of warriors. These are busts, or the torsos of warriors. Next to them, they're shields. The shields would have been covered in gold, and the inscription of the city or township they came from, or the deeds that they did in war. These busts are from all the different warriors that fought under Alexander the Great. Down here is the original bones of King Philip II of Macedonia. You might be asking yourself, who was Philip II? Well, let me tell you who he was.
Philip II, a ruthless warrior, was the father of Alexander the Great. As a young man in battle, he lost an eye when struck in the face with a sword, but he proved his military prowess by inventing the phalanx. Thousands of men would form tight formations with 20-foot spears. They could then attack the enemy horses and men from a distance while protecting themselves. Along with the fierceness and loyalty of his men, these innovations led him to victories in many lands. I'm going to take you down the hill now to one of the most magnificent archaeological discoveries of the century, and that is the tombs of Philip II. These tombs were found intact, undisturbed by grave robbers, with a magnificent hoard of golden treasures. Underground, the archaeologists found a marble door leading to the entrance of the tomb. Deep within the majestic chambers, they found a gold box containing the bones of Philip II. Next to him were the golden ornaments befitting a king, a crown for his wife, fashioned with flowers and angels, and a vest of armor adorned with gold. Situated on a hill, the tomb allowed the spirit of Philip II to watch over his beloved Greece. Olives and olive oil. They have been part of Greek traditional history for literally thousands of years. The most expensive olive oil comes from pressing the green olives. It was in ancient graves that archaeologists learned much about the production and use of olives. Here, they found unbroken artifacts. Like I said before, olive oil was indispensable in the ancient times. Here also, we have fine examples of oil lamps, here in Thessaloniki. Handcrafted from clay, these lamps were often detailed with scenes depicting the owner's profession, regional gods, or signs of the zodiac. Great in number and type, they lit all rooms of ancient Greece. On many of the lamps, you can still see the burnt residue of oil. During recent excavations of the Bloody Tower, a prison used by the Turks to murder Macedonian troops, archaeologists found a huge cache of oil lamps that had been hoarded by prisoners in the dungeons for a planned escape that never happened. Valuables such as these coins were stolen from the prisoners by their captors, placed in jars and hidden within the thick prison walls. Before they could be secreted out by the guards, the Ottoman Empire fell and the Macedonians exacted their revenge. I could only see glimpses of ancient Greek civilization through the ruins and relics. Most of its culinary history is lost to the modern world. Undaunted, I searched Athens for someone who could tell me if there was any place with ancient recipes. One archaeologist said, "Our marketplaces haven't changed for over 1,000 years. People still shop and prepare foods much the way they did when Athens was the center of civilization." In the market were all manners of food. Fresh fish from the sea, brought in daily and sold by the pound to the hungry citizens. Vegetables and fruits from local farms as well as abroad. As I searched the market for something different, I came upon a dish with historic roots. One of the oldest recipes was a very simple one and one of the most exotic I had seen: sheephead. While in Athens, I approached a rotisserie house to have them show my viewers how sheephead was prepared.
I'm in a place in not far from downtown Athens called the Grill House, and behind me are some typical dishes. We've got the lamb head, we've got pork, kokoretsi, we've got chicken. This is one of the best grill houses around here, and I'm going to order 2 sheep heads to go.
While I waited for the sheephead to cook, life continued as normal at the restaurant. Dimitris took some time from his busy schedule to show me the various dishes that were constantly being prepared.
Kalamaki, souvlaki, souvlaki, souvlaki.
Souvlaki is pork on a stick. Served with pita bread, it is a quick favorite snack, the hot dog of Greece.
Chicken. Το κοκορέτσι τώρα πώς το λένε, κοκορέτσι, Greek, κοκορέτσι. Μποξάς. Pork and veal. Όχι τα εντόστια, πώς θα λένε τα εντόστια. Τα εντόστια, πώς θα λένε. Pork and lamb.
Sheephead, lamb.
This is the sheephead I'd seen at the market. I was told that it really didn't matter whether it was the head of a lamb or a goat, so long as it was from a very young animal. An animal less than 6 months of age. Any older and it would be inedible. After roasting over a fire for 4 hours, they crack the skull in half, add a little salt, and off it goes to your house, ready to eat.
Okay, I have 2 sheep heads to go, and we're going to say goodbye to everybody. This is the best grill house in Athens. See you later. Bye. This is going to be great eating. Let's take it home. I'm here at the house of my friend Kostas and Eleni, and we are about to eat the sheep heads, which are down here on the table, right about here. That's the eye, and that's the jaw. That's the best piece of meat right there, is the meat around the jaw. And of course they've split them in half, and you've got half a tongue and half a brain, and you know, a lot of really great meat. Kostas was the first one to show me the sheep head about 3 years ago, and I ate it then, and I'm going to eat it now. It tastes really great. You got to try it when you come here. The best part of the sheep head is the jaw part. The meat around the jaw is probably one of my favorite parts because it seems to be a lot different. But the great thing about the sheep head is that it's got so many different flavors. You've got the brain, you've got the tongue. The eye is kind of questionable. That's a tough one to get down. But then you've got meat around the jaw. Every bit of meat on the head tastes different from everything else. Excellent. A little bit of Greek salad, some feta cheese and some wine. Can't ask for anything better here in Athens.
Greece and its people have endured war for its entire history. Situated in a strategic region, armies here have either conquered or been conquered. Its ports and lands have been cherished prizes for a millennium. Gateway to the eastern countries and seaport to the western world, many people have fought and died for these lands. But what about war? What about the machine of war? The men, the army. What did it take to feed their army? No less than a caravan of cattle. For an army of 25,000 men, up to 2,500 head of cattle, 1,500 sheep, and 6,000 chickens went with the army as they marched their way across Greece. To prepare the food, 2,000 cooks worked tirelessly to guarantee that the men would be well fed when they returned to camp after a day of battle. One such camp was recently found by archeologists. It was set up to feed an enormous number of troops. Cooking vessels of all types, barbecues, braziers, and olive jars were found virtually intact. This is a 2,000-year-old fry pan. These skewers were used for grilling meat over an open fire. Found in a part of the camp reserved for commanders and royalty, these items of cookware were that of Alexander the Great's father, Philip II.
This is characteristic household pottery from the Roman period here in Thessaloniki. A lot of these vases and dishes haven't changed much over the millennia. These contained olive oil, spices, herbs, liquids for cooking, and most interesting are these little pots for food, and this one pot here for keeping food hot. If the ancients were so primitive, why then could they make glassware such as this?
Over 1,000 years old, these vessels rival the best of our workmanship today. Many were designed for holding ritual oils and perfumes. The rest were made for use in the household to contain cooking oils, wines, and vinegars. Rather than use terracotta, the glass provided an airtight seal and didn't color the taste of the liquids in any way. These designs can still be seen in contemporary Greek culture.
Again, we see an array of cooking implements. There's a jug for drinking, and you've got little dishes for foods and spices, and a large bowl. Also an iron bowl with little ringlets on it that can be hung over a fire for cooking. you'll see a frying pan made of solid silver with a ram's head on it. This was for beverages. You see the ladle that went inside for drinking. These are strainers and little silver plates that held salt and spices and peppers. And there's some cups.
Just as the museums and archaeological sites provided historical insight, the markets taught me much about the cuisine of Greece. I wish I could spend more time in this historic place. The Greek people have a tremendous knowledge of their culinary history and pass recipes from generation to generation. Their warmth and innovations are known the world over.
Archaeologists found an inscription on a temple wall that was over 2,000 years ago. It was from an ancient Greek sailor, and that inscription read, "All fantastic journeys must come to an end." Unfortunately, this month-long expedition to Greece must also come to an end. I want to thank my cameraman, Mike Paine, for being so patient with me on this spur-of-the-moment expedition. And I hope you've learned something about the Greek people, their history, and most importantly, I hope you can reproduce these dishes for your friends and family at home, because that is the whole purpose of my show. So this is Nick Paine from the beautiful country of Greece, reminding you that if you try something different, it will make a difference in your life. Until next time, this is Nick Paine. I'll see you again.